Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, I'm going to be disassembling the Les George MK3. I took this on a weekend trip recently, excuse me, and used it for food prep and all that stuff. So I feel like it needs a bit of a cleaning now. And I figure I'd take it apart and make a video out of it. Okay, so let's confirm what bits we need. Let's see. That's an 8. Okay. That's probably a 6. All right, so the body screws, you're going to use a T8. For the clip screws, it's going to be a T6. Yep. And then for the pivot, it is a T20. Right there. That is not a common size for a pivot. At least for most of the knives I've owned. I'm going to go ahead and take the pocket clip off first. Oh no! Screws falling off everywhere. All right, set this aside. Let's go ahead and take out the body screws. That's one. And that's another. All right, so it's the lower body screw, upper body screw. And let's get to the pivot. So if you are going to disassemble your knife with the blade open, I would recommend putting some tape on it just for safety measures, or taping up the edge, I mean. I've been doing it for a while now, so I get lazy and I don't do that. But I would recommend doing so, just to be safe. I am not leading by example, clearly. And there we go. All right, let's pop this one off. Does it want to pop off? It doesn't want to pop off. Oh, it's interesting. It's pushing this side off, actually. Which tells me that the blade stop pin right there is probably pressed into this side, show side scale, a little more firmly. Okay, well, I can take out the other side. Get my T8 back. Let's go ahead and disassemble. Take these out. Upper body screw, lower body screw. Okay. And now it is coming off, kind of. Let's shift these off first. There we go. Got your washers falling out everywhere. Okay. Yeah, these are dirty. Huh. So the pivot right here appears to be pressed into the clip side scale. It's not moving, so I don't think that's coming out. Let me know if you've disassembled one of these, if that is not true and you have been able to take it out. Let's take a look at some of the components, yeah? So got your clip right there. Here's your pivot screw using a T20. These are both sides of the body screws using T8s. And this is the show side scale. I like how clean it is because it does not have drill holes on this side for the pocket clip. It's not milled out, as you can see, but the scale itself is fairly thin. Well, it's not thick, so I feel like there isn't much room for them to do any internal milling on the scales. Let's just show a clip side scale right here. You got 2 phosphorus bronze washers. This is the blade stop pin that enters right here, here. This is actually for the rear side of the handles, or the butt side. You got your back spacers. I like the design on these. Simplistic yet elegant. Here's your blade. No markings except for the front of the blade. Okay. I'm gonna clean this up. No! Alright. Let's start with the scales first. Really just a quick wipe down. Let's get this. Let's wipe the blade tang down with some rubbing alcohol. Okay, let's move on to some of the other components. The back spacers should be fine. Okay. And lastly, let's do the washers. Okay. Looks good to me. All right, let's put this back, shall we? I'm going to get the back spacer lodged onto the clip side first. So, let's see. Just using my T8. Okay, that's not going anywhere. Let's get this pin back in. And then also the blade stop pin. There we go. And then let's get the first washer. Oh, I got the wrong lube. I'm not going to use fluorinated grease. I'm going to use my nano oil. 10 weight. Dab here, dab here. 4 dabs. Okay. Let's get the other washer on. I'm just taking a look at this portion of the washer right here. It's not deformed or anything, so. Okay. Okay, is that. Let's go ahead and get that presentation skill on. Oh, very. Is it easy? Yep. Everything looks good. So, one thing I do measure is to make sure the gaps between the blade and the scales are as even on both sides as possible. Or at least the way it looked before I took it apart, even though I did not check this. But let's go ahead and get the pivot in. So just keep the blade in place. Yeah, you know what? Should have just free spun it with my thumb. Then tighten it up. Okay, I'm gonna leave it loose for now. You can tune it afterwards. Let's go. Learn my lesson, this part's just gonna fall off. Tighten that up. Feels good. Okay. Ooh, feels very smooth, flickable, and it does drop when you disengage. So ideal for our knife on washers. I feel like our knife world is getting so common with bearings that to see this type of action on washers is more than a pleasant surprise. So, more than content with that. Let's see if I can tighten it up a little bit more without impacting too much of the action. Oh, that did. Okay. I haven't experienced any loosening of the pivot on this knife, so I would say you probably don't need Loctite or thread locker. But if that's something that concerns you, because if you do over tighten, the action does get sacrificed. It won't drop shut. See? Yeah. So, depending on your preferences, you want it to drop shut when you disengage, you don't. It's completely up to you. That doesn't matter to me too much. And the centering, that looks pretty good. Blade play, non-existent. I've had, I think, 2 models, including this one, the VCP as well from Les Georges, and rock solid knives all day. Let's get that pocket clip back on. go. Okay, let's tie these up. I think that wraps it up. All right. How much smoother did it get after relubing it? Negligible. But I sure feel better about knowing that it's cleaned up. And really, it's a very simple knife to take apart. And as you can see, there wasn't any complicated components to it. You didn't have to position anything in a specific manner to get it back together. So that I definitely appreciate about this knife. As always, really appreciate you tuning in. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Drop it in the comment section. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, stay frosty.